Welcome. I'm Val Cole, and I'll be your host for this live program. Today is International Women's Day, and our program this afternoon will focus on exciting career opportunities for women with the Hamilton Street Railway. We're fortunate in the city of Hamilton to have so many women leading the HSR, and just a few of them are here with us today. So I'm pleased to welcome to our program Maureen Cousin-Heath, Director of Transit for the Hamilton Street Railway; Stephanie Primich, Superintendent with the HSR; Gurpreet Kluss, an HSR Operations Clerk; Kelly Eden, Executive Board Member for the Amalgamated Transit Union Local 685; Joy Brown, a Transit Operator with the HSR; and Jennifer Knight, a Transit Instructor with the Hamilton Street Railway. Ladies, thank you so much. Welcome and happy International Women's Day to all of you. Now, before we get too far into today's program, let's start off by hearing from Jeanette Smith, City Manager for the City of Hamilton.
Welcome to Women Driving Change at HSR and happy International Women's Day. Today's event is a fantastic opportunity for potential bus operators to ask questions and learn more about career opportunities with the city's transit program. As a diverse community, it's important that the city's workforce reflect the people we serve. We want to continue to build a city where people of all identities feel a strong sense of inclusion, empowerment, and opportunity for development and growth. For me as city manager, a diverse and inclusive workforce is essential for attracting and retaining top talent, generating innovative ideas, and improving employee and customer satisfaction. These are all important ingredients that will enable us to continue to deliver high quality and cost-effective services and ensure our city's continued success. Today's panel features an impressive group of women that work in transit. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank them for participating and sharing their valuable perspectives and experiences. They'll share more about working at the HSR, the role of a bus operator, career growth opportunities, finding work-life balance, and overcoming challenges. I hope you'll find today's session informative and that it will encourage you to consider applying to work with the HSR in the city. Have a great session and a great day. Bye for now.
Wonderful. Thanks, Jeanette. Also joining us today is Maureen Cousin-Heath, the Director of Transit for the Hamilton Street Railway. All right, Maureen, you're still relatively new to the HSR, but you've had a long and distinguished career in transit, so welcome to the show.
Well, thank you, and we appreciate you celebrating International Women's Day with us. As you mentioned, I have worked in transit for a number of years, more than I prefer to count, to be honest, and I guess I'm a great example of somebody I can speak from firsthand experience about the opportunities for career and professional development that exist for females in the transit space. I started in the late 1990s as the customer service manager at the London Transit Commission, and then moved over into the role of operations manager. At the time, I was the first female ops manager that LTC had ever had, and there were very, very few women sitting in operations sessions back then. That landscape is starting to change, which is, I think, wonderful. All of the panelists will agree today that there's more space for us in transit and transportation-led fields than ever before. At the Transit Commission for about 9 years, and then I left to work for school boards. And through the provincial consortium model, what we found was that the majority of school bus contractors it's multi-generational family-run businesses, extremely male-dominated. So female leadership in the school busing industry was certainly something that is an adaptation for some of the people that have worked in that sector for a very long period of time. So overall, my time in transit is an example of opportunities to experience other roles. I've worked with many wonderful mentors, both male and female. I've built great relationships with union executives who really helped me develop professionally and prepared me for the leadership position that I'm in today. I started at the HSR in June of this year in the middle of a pandemic and with city transformative projects on the horizon. So certainly it's a very, very exciting time to be here and be in transit. And certainly I know at HSR we strive to provide a customer-focused system that is safe and reliable, inclusive, and accessible. One of the most rewarding aspects of this job is knowing that we make a direct impact on our community every single day. And we really understand and respect that people depend on us to get to work, to school, to access social services, and to connect with their friends and family. So we take this responsibility very, very seriously. Here at the HSR, we remain committed to improving transit in Hamilton as we continue to navigate COVID-19 and welcome customers back to transit. During the height of COVID, HSR provided more than 9.7 million trips, and with our Ready to Ride campaign, we're working to return to the pre-pandemic levels of 22 million trips per year. So if you're considering a career in transit, now is the perfect time because we're on a path of growth. As part of our local 10-year transit strategy, and thanks to our council's ongoing investment in transit, we've added 46,000 hours, 13 expansion buses, and hired an additional 35 full-time team members during 2021 alone. As we get ready for 2022, we're going to add 49,000 service hours, 14 additional buses, and bring on board 43 new team members. So as you can see from those numbers, there is lots of opportunity here for room and for growth. As we continue to re-envision what transit looks like in Hamilton, our re-envision guiding principles help us to inform our future action plans, focus on our customer experience improvements, and redesign our transit network. So as frontline workers, our operators are really important champions and ambassadors of our guiding principles, and they play such a key role in delivering a positive customer service experience for Hamiltonians. I often get asked what it takes to become a transit bus operator. And I would answer that simply, you have to like people. It is a customer service, people-focused job. And while your main focus is on operating the vehicle in different weather and traffic conditions, the main part of your job is helping people get where they want to go safely and on time. So there's lots of additional skills and qualities that we look for when we're recruiting. We're looking for people who are results driven. Customers need you to get them to their destination on time. We need you to be customer focused because as City of Hamilton employees, we're public servants who serve our community by delivering excellent transit service. So help us make transit Hamilton's first choice by putting their needs first and interacting with all of the residents on board and in the vehicular traffic in a professional manner. You really must be a team player because your work assignment is part and parcel of the larger transit system agency at large, and you're going to work with other bus operators and management to keep the bus routes running smoothly and on time. And lastly, I think you really need to be an effective communicator. All customers deserve a respectful and professional interaction. And throughout the day, you're going to be answering the same customer service questions over and over and over again. So it might be the 10th time you've answered that question in a shift, but it's the first time that customer has asked it. So we really need people who are going to take that to heart and make sure that it's a service first position that they're interested in. So on to today's event, I am very thankful for the panelists that have chosen to join me today, Stephanie, Gurpreet, Kelly, Joy, and Jennifer. They're going to join us and share their experiences as women working in transit and at the HSR. And although the women have made great strides in the transit industry, only 24% of our operators are women, and we would love to increase that number. This trend is noticeable in both the number of operators that we have, but also in the number of applications that we receive. So that's why we do events like today, to encourage women just like you to put your name forward and apply for a career here at HSR. We know that women apply and they go through our training programs and they're successful, but we remain challenged at attracting viable women candidates. So we're going to keep trying and we encourage you to join us. Please rest assured that we're here to support you during your training and through your career and while you're out there on the road. So in closing, I really hope that you find today's virtual session very informative, and I hope that it motivates you to apply and to join our team here at the HSR. Thanks, and again, I wish you a great session.
Thank you so much, Maureen. Wow, 22 million rides. Stephanie Primich is a superintendent with the HSR. Stephanie, we welcome you to the show today. Hello.
Hi, Val. Thank you. As you said, my name is Stephanie Primich. I'm one of the superintendents of operations at the HSR. I've now been with the HSR for about 2.5 years. My career started about 12 years ago as a summer student while I was still going to university. My dad brought the job posting home, and I thought it was, a great way to spend my summer was to be working in transit. It was a great experience, and when I was close to graduating, they posted the job for bus operator, and I thought, I'll throw my name in the hat and see what happens. Got the call to do testing and thought, what was I thinking? There's no way I can be a bus driver. So I didn't sign up for the testing and regretted a little bit after. But thankfully, 3 weeks later, they posted the job again. So this time I applied, I committed, I did the testing and was successful. Got the call for interview and then just waited. As I walked into my last exam, I got a call from HR saying, congratulations, you start driving a bus in 2 weeks. So I spent my 2 weeks kind of a little bit nervous, thinking, what have I gotten myself into and how do I get myself out of this? But there was no going back. So I did my training. It was about 6 weeks of training at Go. And then by the end of it, I felt super confident. I was like, great, here we go. Then they put you in a bus by yourself and you're like, oh no, here we go again. But it all kind of comes together. You're not really on your own on the bus. There's always someone there to support you. All the other operators are looking out for you. You have supervisors, you have other staff who's, keep an eye on you and ready to help. Will you get lost? Most definitely. But you just got to do your best to do your routing and just try your hardest to make sure that you're providing the best customer service and getting your customers there on time. After about 1.5 years of driving, I had the opportunity to move into safety and training as a safety and training coordinator. It was a great job. My goal was to one day be a safety and training instructor. So this was a great step for me. I learned a lot. And in that time, I was able to take a bunch of, adult education courses, get my signing authority, get my air brake endorsement. And then 2 years after I started as a coordinator, I got offered the position as safety and training instructor. Again, it almost felt like being a bus driver all over again, because now not only am I in the large vehicle, I'm teaching other people how to drive this large vehicle. But you meet a lot of people and it's really great. And it's really great to watch all these people come in and have that same thought that you once did. What am I doing here? How am I going to drive this large vehicle? And by the end of the training, watching them, be confident and successful in their future careers. One day, a fellow coworker asked me if I saw the job posting for superintendent at the HSR, and I hadn't really been looking, but figured I might as well take a look at it, applied, and thought, what's the worst that's going to happen? I'm going to have to make a decision. A few weeks later, I got the call that they were going to offer me the job as superintendent. And then a few hours later, I got a job offer to be a supervisor at Go Transit as well. So my worst fear had come true, and now I had to make my decision. Did I want to stick with, being in the same transit agency I had been for almost 10 years, or do I want to try something new? I figured I'd take a leap of faith and I'd try something new. I've been with the HSR for 2.5 years, and it's been a great learning and growing experience. And it really just goes to show you that there's a lot of opportunity out there in transit, and you don't need to stay in one place. If you want and you are willing to, grow and develop, there's a lot of opportunity in the transit world, and you'll meet a lot of people that are out there to help you and support you, mentor you, lead you, guide you in any way, shape, or form. And I thankfully haven't met too many people that are naysayers, because most of the people I have met are very happy to see you succeed and are there to support you with whatever you need. So after my 2.5 years, I'm looking forward to what else we can all do to help us all grow and develop in the transit world. Thank you, Val.
Wonderful. Thank you, Stephanie. Gurpreet Klass is also joining us on this International Women's Day. Gurpreet, This is your turn. Why don't you share your opening comments with us? Oh, can you just unmute yourself? I think we all have to take a shot now, right? Is that how it works on Zoom? Go for it.
Hi, Val. Thanks. I've been with the HSR City Hamilton for 16 years. First half of my career was as a bus operator. Back in 2006, I applied for the position. A friend of mine asked me, she was going to apply for it. She asked me if I wanted to go with her, and I said, sure, I have nothing to lose. It's a great paying job with great benefits and great pension. Sure, why not? So we both went and applied for it, and then we both got a call to do the written test. That's what we did at the time. And I passed the test, and she didn't make it. I went through the interview process, and a couple months later, I got a call that I start training in a couple of weeks. So I went through training, and training was a breeze for me because I had driven a bigger vehicle before. I think our instructors can teach anybody how to drive a bus as long as they're punctual and have great customer service skills and just be a people person. So I had all those going for me. And after training, I signed the spare board, which is working all different kinds of shifts. Spare board is working days, nights, afternoons, and sometimes split shifts, which is could be, depends what you make of it. I used my splits to go to the gym and like do a little laundry or groceries and make the best of it. That helped out. And I also signed, I was in my early 20s living at home. I just signed basically my days off to get more hours. I used to work 6 days a week, 60 hours a week, and just working a lot of hours. And I saved enough money to buy my own house in less than 2 years. That was pretty exciting. And I also met my husband on spare board here. He liked working a lot of hours just like me. And we used to work a lot of the same shifts. And a few years later, we got married. Now we have a 3-year-old. So it's a lot of juggling around with a little one, but we both make it work. It's great. I had some health issues later on and was in need for a consistent schedule. So I went back to school and had the opportunity to apply for operations clerk position, in which I'm right now. Been doing this for the last 7-8 years. And it's been great. I get to see what happens behind the scenes in workforce planning and helping supervision with and operators with requests and routing and all kinds of different things. And supervision and operators both appreciate. I have the bus driving experience. I can help them with. I can help them with a lot of that stuff. So it's been great working at HSR. I work with some really amazing people, and it almost feels like family.
I think technically it is your family. You've made it your family. Thank you so much, Gurpreet. The people of the HSR are such an important resource for the organization. And joining us today is Kelly Eden from the Amalgamated Transit Union, Local 685. Welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me, and happy International Women's Day to everybody. My background is a little bit different. I am out of a different local. I'm out of town, just down the street in Brantford. I started out as a part-time dispatcher, a single parent, looking for a part-time job that I absolutely loved. Again, the customer service was key to me. We speak to quite a variety of people, and sometimes we may be their only phone call a day. So that kind of warms your heart and makes you feel like you're making a difference. When I first started with my employer, I was very interested in the union and how it protected or served the members or the co-workers that I was belonging to now, and the camaraderie and the teamwork and the supports that we saw happening. I was eager to learn and absorb so much more about how those wheels turned and what made that happen. So I threw my name in the hat at the next nominations and elections, and here I am 17 years later, still loving it, still enjoying every minute of it, as hectic as it can be. It's great. We work with a bunch of amazing people, both from the management perspective as well as our members. So we find that happy balance to make sure that wheels are turning and schedules are being adhered to, but that our members are also okay and things are happening great for them too.
Wonderful. Thank you, Kelly, and all the members of Local 685. And speaking of the Frontline transit operators, I am very pleased to welcome Joy Brown to today's show. Hi, Joy.
Hi, Val. Thank you for having us today. Um, as the rest of the women, I started in transit with driving. I started in 2013 as a driver. I'm still a driver. I have done other things as well, but I started there. In 2013, I was 23 years old when I applied. I was actually just finished college and I had a diploma in something that didn't serve what I wanted to do. So I was kind of just like in between jobs, just doing different things to really try and figure out what I wanted to do next. I had this diploma, I wasn't going to use it, and I had all this debt. So what was I going to do? A coworker actually told me about HSR, and I said no. Because I was like, I am super tiny. I'm only about 5'3.5". I was like, there's no way I could drive that. Absolutely not. I had a very small car at the time. So I kind of just didn't even bother. It ended up coming up again, and I decided, you know what? I should try again because I kept getting that push. And I was like, what is the worst that could happen? Like, they'll just tell me no, and I will continue on doing what I'm doing. Unfortunately, they said yes. I went through the training and everything else. And here I am. I ended up starting in 2013. So I applied in 2012, started in 2013, just after my 24th birthday. So I was very young. I was the youngest on the fleet at the time. And everybody was super helpful. Like everyone from management, everywhere. Obviously, you make wrong turns, but one of the best parts that I don't think I realized in college when I took my degree was working with people. When you're out on the road and you're technically by yourself and you're picking up passengers, they make your entire day. You have children that bring you cards. People will bring you coffee. They just do so much. You crack jokes, you make friends, you have your regulars that you pick up and you wait for, and it becomes just like a regular day-to-day thing where you look forward to seeing these people. Like you've built like this extended family outside of your family, your HSR family. Then you have your passengers, which are also your family, and they look out for you and you look out for them. And after that, after in 2016, I had my daughter. So I was at the time I was doing acting inspecting, whereas like you fill a position for inspector who is not there. Then I had my daughter. So when I came back, I needed to do something different just because of scheduling. And I decided to join the sign up committee, which is a portion of the union, and also do platforming, where when drivers come straight out of training, they spend the day with you on your bus and you kind of just like help them along because, you know, they're scared just like how you were. And I think that's where I found my footing, is really being around people and helping people and being around other drivers and management. And everyone is just always in a good mood, always so happy. Obviously, people have their off days too, but in a whole, it is an amazing place to work. If you're on the fence and you don't really know if it's for you, you can learn how to drive anything. Driving is super easy. But when it comes to people, that is literally the best part of the job. And when you get to see other women doing amazing things, it just makes you want to do more and like just really commit yourself to it. And you will have a blast. It's so much fun. I've been here for 9 years this year, and I'm going to be here for even longer just because it's so great and I love it. And it literally changed my life, and I'm so thankful for it.
That's so interesting. It was supposed to be just a gap thing, and now here you are 9 years later. Thank you so much, Joy, to you and all the transit operators who kept the HSR rolling during the COVID-19 pandemic. Hats off to you. Now, finally, I'd like to welcome Jennifer Knight to the program. Jennifer is a transit instructor with the HSR, so let's find out what that's all about.
Hi, Val. Happy International Women's Day. Thanks for having me. I am so honored to be here with all these impressive ladies. I hope you guys are all enjoying today because it's about, as I think, it's about women. What it's about at the HSR as far as being an instructor, that's the fun part. I love my job. I have always loved my job. My story started 15 years ago. I just celebrated my 15th year at the HSR, so I'm pretty proud of that. I was a struggling single mother at the time. I was struggling to pay my bills. I was struggling to get by. And I thought I needed a career change. I needed something that was going to help me advance in my life. And I attended a job fair, and one of the booths there was the HSR, and it literally changed my life. It promised all the things that all these ladies said. It promised job security. It was good pay, good benefits, flexible hours, a pension. All of that great stuff is what it promised. So that enticed me. But the real reason I applied was honestly because somebody in my life at the time told me that I couldn't drive a bus because I was a girl. And that was it for me. It was a challenge. It was all the motivation I needed. And I had to prove them wrong. And I did. So 15 years later, I'm still here. I'm still going strong. It was definitely a struggle at first. It was challenging to balance that work life and your family life, especially with two kids under the age of 4. But we talked about how flexible the job was, and it's truly the case because I was able to choose what worked best for my family. I was able to go to nights if I wanted, and that's what I tried in the beginning. I had a live-in nanny, so I figured, I'll go to work while the kids are sleeping, and then I'll be able to hang out with the kids when they're awake. Well, that didn't work out too well. Of course, I was sleeping when they were awake because I had worked all night. So that didn't work out too well, but the great part about transit was I was able to switch and I could go back to days. So I went back to days and I chose split shifts. And a lot of people say split shifts don't work for them. They want to get their work done, go home, have an 8-hour day. I didn't mind my 10-hour day. It really worked for me. I would get up really early in the morning. So while you guys were all off in dreamland, 4 o'clock, here I was, break of dawn, getting up, getting ready to drive a bus. And I did that. And then I was finished at 9 a.m. I came home and I was able to put dinner in the crock pot, clean the house, attend the school functions, whatever it was that I needed to do as a mom, I was able to do it. And I did this for a good 8 years. Split shifts were exactly where I needed to be and exactly what worked for my family. So that's what I did. 8 years later, I watched the city grow, I watched the businesses grow, and I watched transit grow. And then it just encouraged me to want to grow even more. My children were older. I wanted a new opportunity. So the great part about working for the HSR and the city of Hamilton is that they encourage personal growth. So they supported me in my decision to go back to school, take some courses. I switched back to nights and I took some classes at McMaster University and I earned a diploma and adult education. I went the route of instructor. The opening was there and I jumped at the chance and here I am 8 years later as an instructor now. So it's my job to empower both men and women, and make them the best people that they can be. We talked about as far as working with the public goes, and I honestly agree with you, Joy. That's the best part about the job, is all the people that you meet, all the conversations that you get to have, and the ways that you can help, and you become part of the community. You are an integral part of the community, and that's the best part. The best part is knowing that you made a difference. So that was great for me, and I want to continue doing that. And I want to continue seeing women come into my classroom. So if you're thinking that maybe this is your career choice or even a first or second career, lots of people in my classroom, this is their second career. It's not as intimidating as it looks. I happen to know firsthand that our training team is top notch. So if you have any qualms about the fact that you may not be able to drive a bus, throw that out the window, because we can teach you. And you will love being a part of the community. So come on aboard.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Jennifer. This has been so enlightening. I've enjoyed hearing from all of you. Thank you for your comments. A career with the HSR sounds like an amazing opportunity for anybody, but for so many women listening right now. We've got a lot of questions because you may still have some things that you may be wondering about, so we're going to answer those questions in a minute. But first, let's take a deeper look at a typical day for an HSR operator with this video presentation.
Hi, my name is Helen Chaka. I've been with HSR for 10 years as a bus operator.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Shakeshaft. I've been an HSR operator for 11 months.
Hi, my name is Fadi Labib. I have been a bus operator for HSR for the last 4 years.
I just wanted to drive big vehicles, and also I wanted to save the public by transporting them from point A to point B, and also being able to supply my family with all the needs they want.
I love the city of Hamilton. I specifically moved back after my schooling to work for the city of Hamilton, and customer focus has always been kind of my area of interest. I studied psychology in university, and so I always loved working with people and dealing with the public.
Actually, it was my dream job. And the first day when I came to Canada, when I saw the bus, I was like, oh my God, one day I want to be an operator. And the good thing about this HSR, they treat you as a family, and everything is amazing. You like good benefit, good pay, and good pension. And you come to work clean and you go home clean, you are the captain of your ship.
My favorite thing about being an operator and working for HSR is I get the satisfaction that I'm putting in my contribution to the city by being able to transport people from point A to point B. HSR, it's like a nice community, it's a family thing where people love each other, people are there for each other.
My favorite thing about being an operator for HSR is the independence it gives. So long as you show up on time and for your scheduled route, you kind of do your own thing, you have your own day, and you make the day what it is that you like.
Driving the bus all day long, and especially with the 60 feet longer buses like Slinky, is like more challenging, and it's a kind of drive around the city and you get paid for everything.
My responsibilities are to make sure the bus is safe, so I do a second check to see if everything is okay, and also you have to know the routes, like where you're going, make sure you're always driving safe. The hours you work, we choose our own schedules, but it goes by seniority. So you choose whatever works for you. Like with me, my kids are grown. I can work nights, I can work days, I can work twilights.
A day in the life of an operator is all on time. So you're showing up at 11:42 at a certain stop for your thing. So being there on time is key. We all run on schedule, so you need to be on time to take over for your bus to keep the route on schedule. It's just about customer focus, being positive, saying hello if someone gets on your bus, lowering the bus for those who need it lowered, letting people know what's up in Hamilton, where to go, where places are. Knowing parts of the city is important too. A lot of people get on your bus not knowing where they're from a different city, and they need to get here. And you need to be the one to tell them how to get there if they need to take a connection. You work 5 days a week. Anywhere they have it from early bird shifts, you can start at 4:30 in the morning and be done your day by noon. You can have some sleep-ins, start kind of working 11 to 7, or what we call the night shift. So you're working, 3 to 1 or 4 to 1.
At the beginning, everybody has different experience, like if you have to have your weekends off or not. For me, as personally, I like this job. At the beginning of the day, you have to inspect the bus, you make sure all your paperwork with you. And number one, you have safety first, and you make sure you drive the passenger from A to B in a safe manner.
You pick the schedule that works with you. If you are a person who have children, you pick a schedule, maybe nights, or if you have something else to do, you can pick like split shifts where if you have a doctor's appointment, you can put it in between your splits.
It was hard for me when I started to get a work-life balance with the schedules and me only being here for 11 months. I don't get the best of shifts, so I can be starting at 4:30 one day and 11 the next, so it was hard for me to find a balance. So what I did on my days off was join a team so that I have something else to do to get out of that work, constantly working. They have a lot of split shifts, so you'll do a part of a shift from 4 to 7, be off for 2 hours and have to come back. So the days can be long, so you have to find things to do in between there. Go to the gym, hit up a workout, meet up with a friend, but you need to keep your work-life balance because it's hard on the mind. So yeah, you're working the holidays, you're working Christmas Day when everyone's at home. When you got the big snowstorm, you're going to work.
When you are a new driver, you are at the bottom of the seniority, so you start from the zero. And you have different days off, like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And there is no weekends for a while, like at least 5-6 years. So you have to build yourself. So we have to adapt, and we change our work. And the best thing about being an operator, you can actually change your work. Like at the beginning, if you are not senior, when you are a junior driver, you start at night. And then after by the time, you can change to an afternoon shift, or you can start an early day. So you have just to go with it. So for me, I make sure my passengers, they are safe. I drive according to the weather. It doesn't matter even if the speed says 50, I will go lower than that. We have to make sure all our passengers, they go from destination, from A to B, in a safe position.
What makes a good bus operator is being a team player, customer focused, and being patient, a positive attitude, and good communication skills. All those make a good operator.
To me, it's all about attitude. You have to come in here and you check your ego at the door. You're gonna make a mistake, you're gonna make a wrong turn being new, but it's all about staying calm, cool, and collected. You're the captain of that ship. When you sit in the seat, whether you've been here 1 month or 11 years, you need all your people to know you got control of the ship. And so it's all about just being positive attitude and taking it as it goes and just making sure everyone has a nice, safe ride.
The good quality to be a bus operator are like a good teamwork, a positive attitude, and a good customer service.
HSR offers like 6 weeks training, and also if you need help in anything, they are always there to help you out with whatever challenges you might go through. Sometimes it's so hard to deal with tough customers, but sometimes you just think like everybody goes through tough things and you don't know what you're dealing with. There's a time to back down when a situation escalates, and there's always help when you call and say, I need help with this tough situation. And the thing that I find that works most is to just stay calm.
The hardest thing to get used to, I would say, is the schedules. Having to go to bed at 7 p.m. to get up at 3 to start your bus at 4 is difficult. But they provide you with shuttles. If you don't have your own vehicle there, you don't want to take your car, there's shuttles that run, there's a pickup bus that runs. So they know the challenges of the job and provide all the things that you need, especially in the pandemic, the wipes, all the things. They're a very understanding company. It's intense. You're learning 3 or 4 routes a day. You're going home making route cards. You're coming back, waking up at the crack of dawn.
The hardest thing as a new operator, learning to adapt if you start too early in the morning. It's that's challenging. Like with the beginning, when you start, you might start 4 a.m. in the morning, or sometimes you come very, very late.
I would say join us. This is a good job and it pays well.
I would say come join us. It's a family here. It really is that brother and sisterhood. It's all about camaraderie, coming together. You know, you step off your bus after a rough ride and you got 5 drivers there to talk to say, oh, listen to this customer, just to vent, someone to vent to.
If you're thinking to plan and to go be a bus operator, I can tell you it's the best job you will ever have in your life. For me, when I came to Canada, I had many multiple jobs. And since I started here, I knew this is gonna be my forever job.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, I'm Val Cole, and today, of course, it's International Women's Day, so we're discussing what career opportunities are available for women at the Hamilton Street Railway. For the past number of weeks, the Hamilton Street Railway has invited residents from across the city to submit their questions about working at the HSR. Today, we're going to answer some of those questions with our panel of experts. So ladies, if you're ready, our first question goes, Stephanie, to you. Here it is. Will I really have to work weekends, holidays, and nights? And if so, for how long?
Yes, yes, and yes. And for how long is really based on, like a lot of my colleagues had mentioned, seniority, as well as what your needs are. I've been in transit for many years, and I still work nights, weekends, holidays, but that's because I choose to. It works with my lifestyle. So don't be discouraged about what shifts are available. Just pick based on what's closest to what you would want, and it'll all fall together.
Yeah, and that's not unique to just being a bus operator. A lot of businesses require you to work weekends and holidays, so, you know, that's just kind of how it goes. Gurpreet, this one's for you. It says, I don't live in Hamilton, so how do I know where to go or what the routes are?
As a bus operator, I used to, when I first was in training, I made index cards, color-coded index cards, and I used Google Maps. That helped a lot. And I used to drive a couple of routes every night and just write down my own directions. Hey, make a right at Tim Hortons and make a left at the stop sign, or simple routing instructions so I don't have to pull up my binder and look at it in the middle of the route. That helped me a lot. So hopefully that'll help you as well.
Mm-hmm. And you do the same route over and over, so hopefully it will sink in pretty quickly. All right, Jennifer, you're next. This question is, I'm not very tall. Will I be able to reach everything to be able to operate the bus?
Such a valid question. I am 5'1", and I had that exact same question when I was first hired. I thought, oh my God, am I going to be able to reach the pedals? But I assure you, we have air ride seats, so we can set them up to match whatever height you are. We teach you how to sit ergonomically correct because you are sitting for most of the day. So we want to make sure that everybody is comfortable. But I assure you, height is not an issue, as you can clearly see.
Thanks. Thank you very much. Okay. I'm going to stick with you, Jennifer. This is also a valid question. As a woman, we are, without even realizing it most of the time, we are always aware of our safety and making sure we make decisions that are appropriate for our safety. So this is a good one. I'm going to have to work alone at night, am I? And how will I stay safe?
Absolutely great question. The HSR has put in several safety precautions. We have all kinds of tools to keep you safe. We have bioshields there now that protect us. They were put in place for COVID, but they also help protect us safety reasons. We have cameras on all of the buses. All of our ends of the lines are well lit. We have alarms. We have a 911 switch. We have a silent alarm. Everything at the touch of a button. You've got road supervisors out there, and you are always connected to dispatch. So if you ever feel that you're in an uncomfortable or unsafe position that you can't handle, something that we haven't taught you, because part of the training at the HSR is how to deal with difficult and dangerous situations. So if you're feeling like you are feeling unsafe, like I said, the touch of a button, you're never really alone.
That's good to know. Makes me feel better already. Over to you, Joy, for this one. You mentioned you have a child, a young child. So this is a good question for you to answer. How am I going to arrange childcare at night?
So I actually work nights. I work from 6 p.m. till 2:45 in the morning. One of the reasons I chose that is because it is the school season, so it is able to work with that schedule. When it comes to childcare, I personally used a home care. Today's Family was one of them. So that is always an option. But what I would say is with the way the shifts work here, it's not like you're set to a specific shift. So if you know, okay, in January, I have to put my child here because I have this shift, then you can change your shift to match that or change your daycare to match that. So I would definitely say look into home daycares, asking family, friends. I've had coworkers also help me as well, and also know that you can always switch your shift to accommodate your daycare as well.
It's always a scramble when you're a parent. It's always a scramble. Can't get away from it. Speaking of being a parent, Kelly, I'll ask you this one. I'm a single parent, so how flexible really is the work?
Listening to everybody, and it's the same vibe. It's such a family. It's such a great support system, and the flexibility is wonderful. Everybody wants everybody to succeed. So if it takes a village to make that happen, whether it be family and friends helping out with after school or dropping off at the soccer practice so you can pick up from the soccer practice, it happens. And once you become part of that team and you get to know people and find out their different resources, like Joy said, that, I use this or I've paid attention to this or I can switch with that. It does come together. I mean, Stephanie said, is there weekends and nights and statutory holidays? There is. And eventually that does get better. But for the first time, it takes a village, and don't hesitate to rely on your village. It makes a difference.
Okay. Yeah, so weekends, holidays, Gurpreet, this person is asking, how soon until I can pick what I want to work?
Operators usually pick their work about 4 times a year, and the board period is usually for 2 to 4 months. And there's a board calendar every year, so you know exactly when you're going to sign the board, so you can plan your life around that.
Okay. Well, that sounds fairly reasonable. I think Jennifer may have touched on this earlier, but Maureen, I'll ask you, what precautions are in place to protect me from COVID, is this question.
So the safety of our operators was really front of mind in the early days of COVID, and even as the pandemic has raged on for almost 2 years now. And as you mentioned earlier in the show, our buses rolled the whole time. Our operators, our maintenance staff around here, all of our support staff, they didn't skip a beat. They didn't miss a minute. We kept those buses rolling for our community. So we took some tangible steps quickly to keep our operators safe. We installed bioshields. We moved the line back where customers have to wait to increase the space between the passenger and the driver. We provide face masks, hand sanitizer. We have a vaccination policy established by the city of Hamilton. We do safety briefings and have lots of postings in our work areas at our terminals and at our Mountain Transit Center to remind employees of different safety protocols and safety procedures. They're ever evolving, and we've moved them as the pandemic has changed. It's of critical importance to us to continue to keep our employees safe. As everyone has spoken here today, transit is a family environment, and I happen to have one job, other people have other jobs, but we are all here to look out for one another and make sure that we can all put our best foot forward every day for our customers. So we will continue to provide whatever we need to provide to keep people safe in our workplace.
Fantastic. And it sounds like those COVID barriers offer an extra layer of protection too from somebody who might not be having a good day. Joy, for you, I'm going to ask this question. How early or late will I have to work?
That completely depends on the operator. So buses technically run 24 hours. They're not in service to the public for 24 hours, but they do run 24 hours because we have what a few of us has touched on, pick up and drop off buses. So if you don't have a way to get to work or get home, there is a shuttle that takes you there that's attached to a run. So it runs 24 hours. So depending on what works for you, your family, your lifestyle, that shift could start from 2:30 in the morning. It could start from 6 p.m. It could start from 7 p.m. and you could work till 4 a.m. It just completely depends on you. Now, it does take time to get there because it's all about seniority. You could be on the spare board. You could be stuck on nights for a little bit, but it doesn't take that long. And once you do get there, you could work anytime within a 24-hour clock.
Well, you can go to the dentist a little easier when you've got off hours. So there are some benefits to working the non-traditional 9 to 5. Stephanie, what about advancement? What are the opportunities for advancement in the company?
So there's a lot of room for advancement. I think there's a fair amount of people on our panel here that have shown that if that's what you want to do, then there's room for growth. Whether it be within the HSR or the City of Hamilton, or like I mentioned earlier, other transit agency, there's always room to grow.
Like the sound of that. Thank you. Kelly, you haven't answered one in a while. How will my hours be decided? Okay. So the second part of that question is, what if they don't work for me?
So again, hours are decided based on seniority, as many people have touched on, and sometimes it takes a little bit to get there. Flexibility, working around. I find that being upfront and again, working together and making it known early assists in the process. Nobody again is wanting anybody to fail. It's all about succeeding and it's all about working together. And between the team and your supports from management, it will get done.
Okay. A lot of people really want to know that nothing's carved in stone. This next question, Joy, is also about flexibility. She asks, what if I need time off? Life happens.
So if you need, oh, sorry, Val.
No, I was just saying life happens, right? Sometimes you just got to take time off.
Absolutely. And we do have the option of, which I think a lot of other workplaces have, where you could switch a shift with a coworker. If it's like an emergency situations, there are protocols in place that steps that you would take to do that. If it's something where a basketball game for your kids, if you're at the bottom of seniority, I'm going to be honest, you might have to miss it if you cannot get it changed. But workforce planning, where Gurpreet works, it's the woman you go to see. They're very good at either maybe changing your days off for you or maybe switching a shift. But there are some cases where it just can't be done. So you do have to know, when you are at the bottom and your seniority is the lowest, you do miss things. You do work holidays. You don't have weekends off. But it gradually does get better, and drivers are always willing to help other drivers. We're all parents, and management is always willing to help where they can.
Sounds good. Jennifer, let's talk licensing. Do I need a special license to drive a bus? And if so, how do I get it?
Well, that's my job. So you actually need a G license. So as long as you have your full G license and a clean driver's abstract, we want you. All licensing is done in-house, so we train you, and our instructors are signing authorities, so we will upgrade you to your CZ, and then you'll come out a professional defensive driver.
CZ, that's what it's called?
CZ.
Okay.
That's it.
A professional
CZ.
driver. I like the sound of that. And we can start racing buses. Is that right?
I don't think Maureen would like that too much.
Gurpreet, people need to eat. So what are the breaks like? Will I have scheduled breaks and lunch?
No, we don't have scheduled breaks and lunches, but you get some time at the end of the line. It could be for a couple minutes to 20 minutes or more, depends on the route. So each route is different. But if you need more than that, you could always sign a split shift if you want to just go out for lunch with a friend. Or there's lots of washrooms on the route too. So if you just want to take a quick break, you can use the washroom. Sometimes they're at the end of the line, sometimes they're on the route. Yeah.
Okay. Maureen, back to you. Will women be given special consideration during the hiring process?
So our consideration for women during the hiring process is really activities like this and outreach in the community designed to stimulate the number of female applicants that we have in our pool. So again, if you're watching today and you think that this is something you're interested in, or if you're sitting there knowing you have the perfect friend with a great attitude and customer service orientation, we really encourage you to apply. We've got great trainers who are going to teach you what you need to know. And listening to our panelists today and watching that video, if this team can't convince you to come join us, I'm not sure who could.
Do I need to be vaccinated to be a bus operator, Maureen?
Our operators fall under, as a City of Hamilton employee, the City of Hamilton vaccination policy. So presently, a double dose of the COVID-19 vaccine is a requirement for the position.
Okay, good to know. Kelly, how is ATU supporting women in transit?
The ATU has dedicated a ton of resources to women in transit. We have women's councils, we have different mentoring programs. The resources are plenty. The ATU we don't recognize, but we're a huge advocate of more women entering an industry which traditionally has been very male dominated. I have been a member of ATU for 17 years, as I said earlier, and I've held a position on the executive for 17 years. And when I was first elected, I don't know whether it was a pressure I put on myself to prove something, or it was just the way it was 15, 17 years ago, where you walked into a room or convention and it was predominantly male. And you didn't see a lot of females sitting on boards or chairing committees, and it took a lot but because I had such a drive to be there and knew I was just as qualified and had just as much right to be there and very eager to learn, I kind of threw myself in the situation, and I'm glad I did, because now when I visit other properties where we have other locals, I see more and more females sitting on that executive board or chairing committees, and it just makes you realize there's been a shift happening and it needs to continue to happen. And it's a very empowering thing.
Right on. Good to hear. Stephanie, as a woman, this question says, I would be interested in knowing how the HSR deals with customer conflicts directed at women. That's a good one.
So we obviously take all conflicts very seriously. But as Jen had also mentioned, there's a lot of people out there, your safety is number one. So if you are having any conflicts that are specifically directed at women, or you just feel uncomfortable, we have road supervision close by pretty much at all times. So we take that very seriously, and we're out to make sure that everybody, including all our future applicants, feel safe and supported.
Oh, it makes a huge difference in whether or not you feel like going to work that day. It's a huge part of it. Jennifer, I hate paperwork, so I'm totally behind the person asking this question. Apart from completing my resume and cover letter, are there other forms we're expected to fill out?
To apply to the HSR, is there other forms that you're supposed to fill out?
Yeah, that's what the question says. Yeah.
Not at the moment. At the moment, it's just your resume. Once you're selected, there may be other forms, unless I'm mistaken on a process, but I think that's the process. Once you're selected, there may be other forms for you. You will need a criminal background search. That is something that you would be required to upgrade your license. So that would be the only paperwork as far as that's concerned, I believe.
Yeah, there's always forms. There's always going to be forms. So thank you, but just not, it sounds like not a whole lot of forms. Maureen, how does the City of Hamilton encourage diversity, equity, and inclusion?
So the pillar of equity, diversity, and inclusion is a part of the City of Hamilton strategic plan and one of our core priorities. We've established an EDI committee and working group. We are constantly looking at things we can do that are innovative to outreach to our community to help expand our footprint and draw in candidates into employment in the City of Hamilton that really reflect the community that we serve. And that means we want a very diverse group of employees that really mirror our community, because that's the sweet spot as an employer, when you are able to fulfill the services for your community in a mirror to them. So that means events like today, where we're reaching out and trying to get more females to join our team. And we will continue the EDI work in the City of Hamilton as it evolves.
Perfect. You're reflecting back to the community with the employees. I love it. Well, my goodness, how informative has this been? We thank you so much. We've come to the end of today's very special International Women's Day program, exploring exciting career opportunities available for women at the Hamilton Street Railway. And so a big thank you to all of you fabulous guests for being here today. Maureen Cousin-Heath, Director Transit for the Hamilton Street Railway. Stephanie Primich, a Superintendent with the HSR. Gurpreet Kluss, an HSR Operations Clerk. Kelly Eden, Executive Board Member for the Amalgamated Transit Union Local 685. Joy Brown, a transit operator with the HSR, and Jennifer Knight, a transit instructor with the Hamilton Street Railway. Thank you so much, everyone. Really appreciate it. And if you'd like more information about exciting and rewarding career opportunities at the Hamilton Street Railway, we invite you to reach out to us via email at busoperator@hamilton.ca. I'm Val Cole. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.